Om Namah Shivaya, Arsonist Fire, here on The Way of Dharma. Now, our topic for today, we are going to briefly talk about the mind and the influences behind the mind. If you are new over here, please make sure that you do subscribe. Please make sure that you do like and stay tuned until the end. I offer numerological readings and consultations on spiritual topics, and I can also teach you rituals and sadhana. The Way of Dharma is a channel whereby we share mantras, information on yoga. We also talk about various esoteric systems, including the Western esoteric systems and the African esoteric systems, as well as the Dharmic or the Eastern Oriental esoteric systems. Now, before we continue, I'd like to chant some of the few mantras to open up for the energy that we are going to embody throughout this video. First, I'd like to wish peace for each and every one of you and the universe in general. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. One, for auspiciousness. Om Bhadram Karne Bhishurnuyama Devaham Bhadram Pashye Makshabhirya Jatraham Sthirairangai Stushtu Vagam Shastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vridhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastaksharyo aristanemihi Swasti no brihaspatir dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We give thanks to each and every deity that helps us on our spiritual journey. We give thanks to the rishis. We give thanks to our ancestors. Om Rishibhyo Namaha. Om Pitribhyo Namaha. Om Devaha Namaha. So yes, guys, let's continue with our topic for today. Our topic arises from the fact that the mind is influenced by many things, and from those influences, this is where we get to dictate our actions, and our actions are in actuality our karma. So this is what we will talk about today. Before we continue even further, I'd like to show you some of the things that we sell here at the Way of Dharma. This is actually a bracelet, a stone bracelet. It's a yellow agate bracelet. If you can get it anywhere else, you can also do that. This is very powerful for sadhanas such as Baglamukhi sadhana, and also for Mohana workings, which is for fascination, and for Vashikaran, and for Akarshan, which is in actuality attraction. So this is very, very good, and it's also good as a way to do sadhana to defeat your enemies, of course. So yes, guys, what else do I want to show you? This is a certain ring. It's a very, very powerful one. Once you buy it, it takes about a few days. It attunes to your energy. Sometimes it may be hard for you to embody that energy or to digest that energy. but keep on persisting. This will also help you a lot with protection. These bracelets, these bangles, are metal bangles, which is one of them is copper, another is silver, and the other is brass. Many applications for these. One of these I actually had when I was being beaten up by the mob. The copper one, it had an inscription on it, written Om Namah Shivaya. This was one of the things that contributed to the mob beating me not being successful, because when I was being beaten up, all kinds of weapons were being used on me, but they couldn't work for the simple reason that I was wearing copper and I wasn't swollen or anything like that. I just had a minor blue eye or black eye, or what you may call it. So yes, guys, this helps a lot with endurance. It helps a lot with strength. In another video from F.A. West's channel, he actually talks about the many ways Africans use different metals. Copper being one of them. Copper can be used to actually embody the energy of copper, to charge your spiritual rituals, and to do what? To enhance your strength through certain rituals, of course. You can beat up a person with copper and actually harm a person from one smash or lash of copper in your hand. The person can actually feel like they were being bumped by a car, or even something more stronger, or ran over by a train. Sometimes you hit a person and they never actually wake up. They faint, basically. These are one of the benefits of copper. And I think silver too can also do that, because it's a metal, and also brass. However, we use it for calming ourselves, our mental processes, as it relates to the moon, as you will learn when we speak of the mind in this video. Also, this helps with confidence, as it is brass. It vibrates the energy of the sun. And by the way, today is Sun Day, so we are honoring Surya. Om Suryaya Namaha. So yes, guys, let's continue about the topic. This is also tiger's eye, very powerful. It's a stone jap mala. Use it for chanting mantras that will enhance your physical luxurious life. So yes, guys, these are the things that we offer here at the Way of Dharma. We also have a kalash. This one helps to charge your water that can be later used for ritual purposes, and consecration of many various items. It's a prerequisite in the practice of fire rituals, which is also called a homam or a havan. This is a prerequisite. You can also use it for your tarpans, which is in actuality a libation that is being given or offered to either your ancestors, the rishis, your guru, or your mantra, which you are trying to awaken. So it's an entire science of awakening a mantra that has so many other tools. Yes, I also sell incense. This is actually sandalwood incense, and it can be procured from the Way of Dharma 108. Just make sure that you do send me an email at arsonist.fya@gmail.com. So yes, guys, let's continue and get into the topic. I think I have covered everything that I wanted to show you here at Way of Dharma. Let's continue. The mind has many influences behind it, both internal and external. The mind arises from a single thought. The mind has many other faculties that come before it. the faculty of intellect comes before the mind. The mind is seen to be an antakarana, an internal instrument. The mind comes after prana. The mind and prana are interrelated. Where energy goes, attention flows. So your mind has prana and works with prana. Your thoughts take energy to actually exist. To have a simple fluctuation of thoughts in your mind, you need prana. Prana is the food for the mind. What is prana? Prana is the subtle force behind every energetical principle that you see manifest in the physical matter, basically. So the mind requires this energy to actually work. The mind comes before the physical matter, wherein in Western esoteric systems, not esoteric systems, I'm sorry guys, I keep on roasting you guys, I'm sorry. The mind, wherein in scientific thinking, Western science, the mind is seen to be a byproduct of the physical matter, whereas the opposite is actually true or correct. The physical matter or the physical body is in actuality a byproduct of the mind. The mind is a higher faculty than that of matter. Matter, to be animated, requires mind. You understand? Out of mind comes all the bodily processes. Inside mind, there's so many other levels of mind. Inside of them, which is the instinctive mind. The instinctive mind is responsible for the bodily processes. Your hunger urges, your sexual urges, your flight or fight responses, your excretory senses, how you sense, how you perceive the external reality, is under the rule of the instinctive mind. And then we also have the higher mind, which is in actuality the intellectual mind, which is in actuality revealed to the early stages of human life, and then it goes on further into higher states of mind. But in actuality, the mind is a group of thoughts and emotions and impulses and desires. You understand? So that's what the mind is actually basically. It's a group of energy which is in emotions, instincts, desires, and all those other complex thought patterns. They are in actuality the mind. The mind can be influenced from within and from without. Some of the internal processes that influence the mind we are not aware of, as the mind has many states of awareness, or rather we are aware of a certain fraction of the mind. You understand? We are aware of our conscious mind thinking patterns. We are not aware of our unconscious. In the unconscious mind, there's information that we have recorded from our past lives, our entire past lives. You understand? So this information is in actuality the cause of our current existence. You understand? Without that information, there wouldn't be a requirement for a current incarnation in this current lifetime. You understand? Inside the mind, there's tendencies like your sanskaras. There's tendencies like your vasanas, which are subtle desires. There's what else? Your vrittis. Vrittis are in actuality the modifications of the mind. You understand? The mind arises from the single thought of I am, which is the ahankara. Its nature is to perpetuate or self-perpetuate. It's to preserve itself because it's alive, or so it thinks. So it arises from the single thought of I am. Identification with the physical body is the nature of the mind. Identification with physical material things is the nature of the mind, because the mind seeks what? Seeks something to attach to, something that is concrete, something that is what, basically? Something that can be tangible, something that will guarantee its existence. However, as a human, and on this vibratory existence that we are in, everything is forever changing, and the mind is forever changing. Every minute, every second, every hour, every minute, every second. Yes, I'm sorry. So, this vibratory existence that we are in is actually ever changing and forever changing. So the mind seeks something which is concrete and tangible to hold on, to attach to, so that it can guarantee its existence. So this is where you get attachment. You understand? The tendencies of identifying with the physical body and material things. So it arising from the thought of I am, the nature of thought is to go out into the universe and seek expression. The nature of thought is to do what? Is to cause action. Om Namah Shivaya. Is to cause action and seek expression. So from that single thought of I am is where you have all those other thoughts that come after it. So since that we have been living for many lifetimes, you can begin to imagine the amount of thoughts that and information that we have begun to accumulate. And as you can imagine, we are identifying with those information, thoughts that we have been gathering since our first incarnation. This is the problem. This is where you get vrittis. They are modifications of the mind, and they are cunning in such a way that you begin to think they are the mind, and you begin to think they are your true self, basically. And then we also have the vasanas, or vasana. Vasana are desires that are subtle, that come out of the mind. The subtle desires come from the instinctive mind, basically. The desire for name and fame. The desire for name and fame, the desire for sexual expression, the desire for food, luxurious food, that is, the desire for nourishment, the desire for validation, the ego. You understand? Those are subtle desires that dictate or bring about the outcome of your daily life or daily living. So let's move to another portion of this subject of the mind. Inside those internal influences, we also have what? We also have the influences of your ancestors. You may not be aware of this, but it is there. The influences of your ancestors arise from their thinking patterns, from their desires, and from their aspirations, basically, what they want to aspire to. You understand? So as you live already, they have died without fulfilling a certain portion of their thinking or a certain portion of what they wanted for their lives. So you come into the picture, you have to carry on. First, their lineage. Second, their aspirations. I remember doing a live video on Facebook in 2020, or it was 2019. I can't quite remember. I spoke of the fact that parents have desires, and those desires they send into their next of kin. They send their desires, they also send their karmas into their next of kin. So basically, when you live, you are already tainted by the desires and the karmas of your parents. If they don't fulfill certain things, they project those things unconsciously to you to actually fulfill those livings, basically. So that is one way of it. However, the ancestors, when they die, they have lingering thoughts, they have lingering desires, which then influence you. How so? Your ancestors live inside of you. They get to have a glimpse of what it feels like to be alive through you. They are you are their closest link to this earth plane. So they get to encounter your daily living. Every once in a while, they get to possess different parts of your psyche or your thinking or your actions. So if they have that kind of power, it begins to show you or give you a picture of how much of an influence they actually have over you. So the mind actually has those influences. So in the creation or the origination of creation, the mind comes after the heart. As they say in Samadhi, that the mind actually resides in the heart. You understand? So in Samadhi, the mind resides in the heart and not in the brain or in the Agnya chakra. It resides in the heart, as the scriptures say. So it residing in the heart comes before the mind. And then after the mind comes the moon. The moon is of so much significance in the conquering and controlling of mind. The moon has a large influence in our psyche and psychology. It has a large influence in our mental sanity. The moon is responsible for the balancing of the ocean of thought waves that we have. This is how thoughts actually are. Thoughts, as I said, they are a string of emotions, desires, and other habits. Those habits, what desires and emotions. Emotions relates to the water element. So the water element is in actuality an ocean. So this paradox or this parable of saying the ocean of thought or the ocean of the mind is in actuality a literal thing, because the water element is symbolic of the emotional faculty. The emotions are a portion of mind. So picture the mind as this. You have a river. Deep under the river, there's that quiet peace. No matter if the river is running, or let's say a lake or any other still water, when the weather or the wind blows, the water flows. It shakes, it creates ripples on top of the surface, or rather, yes, on top of the surface of the water. So as a human or an animal, you would perceive those ripples and waves on the water. And then deep inside, there's a stillness. There's a peace and calmness under the water. So under the water, there's obviously rocks and there's obviously mud in some cases. So if one mud moves, or rather, if you have a bit of air inside of under the water, that bit of air will go up onto the surface of the water to actually seek expression, seek to breathe, or rather to go back to the earth, to the air element. So that air, bubble of air, will go up to the surface of the lake. It comes from the stillness of the lake, and it's actually a small fraction of the lake. It's a small bubble of air, but when it comes to the surface and when it wants to seek expression and go out into the air element, it creates a ripple. So it might come as if it's a, have you seen when you throw a stone or a pebble in the water? It creates a circular wave that goes in ripples. So that air, when it comes up to the surface, it actually goes like, ooh, and then you see those ripples going and creating a wave in or on the surface of the lake. This is similar to our true nature and our mind. Impulses come from the deeper recesses of our mind, basically. They come, and as they go up to the surface, seeking expression, they become potent, they become an impulse. But in actuality, our nature is peace, tranquility, and that calmness, and an ever changing nature, or our permanent nature, unchanging nature. So this is the nature of the mind. Externally, there's many other influencing factors of the mind. The mind can be influenced through what we hear, and through what we see, and through what we sense. You understand? Among the sensory organs are the eyes and the ears. It is said that the ears or no, not the ears, the eyes can actually perceive or made to to perceive something which is not actually there. For example, what? A hallucination. Okay, in the morning today, in the AMs, early in the AMs, I was actually sleeping. While I was sleeping, I actually looked at my heater, and this I've just remembered it now. Seeing my heater in that half awake state, I could actually see the curtains that are similar to those in Hinduism. So yes, guys, I actually saw curtains on the heater, on the bars of the heater. It was like a curtain that had those flowers, the pushpam. Where are the flowers? Basically, there's that flower garland that we have in Hinduism that they like to put on different deities, one of which is Subramanya or Kartikeya. So those flowers, a curtain of flowers basically. So I saw that on the heater. I think it was a hallucination. So yes, in actuality, what I could perceive is a curtain of flowers, but the original thing would be the heater, but I saw a curtain of flowers. Could be the smoke of the heater, maybe. Could be due to the sadhana that I've been performing, because I remember doing the Jupiter sadhana. I was actually able to perceive not something similar, but I was able to perceive another, what you would call, hallucination on the wall. It was similar to those shaman pictures. You know, that shamanic mushroom trip that you would see that has those beautiful animation pictures, Yes, that shamanic kind of thing. I saw it on the wall after doing the ritual of Jupiter. And then yesterday I did something with the rishis, and I actually did something to honor the ancestors, which could simply explain why I saw the thing. So the eye can be made to perceive something which is not there. However, with the ears, you cannot lie to the ears. The ears can never hear a sound which is never caused. You understand? If you hear something that other people can't hear, that sound originates from somewhere. There's a cause for that sound. However, the eyes can actually do what? Be deceived into seeing something that's not there. Even if there's no cause, but its nature can perceive something which is not there. Because in actuality, why? The physical realm or dimension is in actuality a mold of energy that is obeying a certain frequency for a certain period of time. So every now and then the energy can go back to its true nature, and it happens in front of our eyes, because the physical is in actuality energy. It's a glitch, you understand? So the eyes can be made to perceive such things, whereas it never happened. However, the ears, you can never hear something which is not real. If you hear a sound and other people can't hear it, the sound has an origination in other realms. And if you hear a sound in the physical, definitely there's something that caused the sound. So you cannot hear, you cannot be hearing things, basically. If you hear voices in your head, you are in actuality hearing voices in your head. They might call you schizophrenic, but you are in actually hearing voices in your head. But if you see hallucinations, you could just be crazy. Anyway, that's not the point. So the mind can be influenced from the sensory organs, and the sensory perception can also be influenced by the environment, can be also influenced by the people with whom you are interacting with, basically. Your friends, your family, your relatives, your living relatives, your colleagues, your acquaintances, your school friends, they all influence your mind. The mind is the same for everyone. However, the tendencies and the habits are different. We are the same in mind, however, we have different tendencies and we are unique in our tendencies and habits, basically. So one mind has the same makeup as the other mind. That other mind has the makeup as other minds. And then we have what? Our collective mind, which is what? The cosmic mind. It is similar in every way to our mind. As within, so without. As without, so within. So the cosmic mind is similar to our mind. And when you are with your friend, you actually do what? You actually begin to take the characteristics of your friend, because both minds will have a connection. That's why it's vital that you choose somebody who is complementing your way of living and your way of thinking. I can't be friends with a drunkard because I am not one. You understand? But I can be friends with a porn star because I can be one. Anyway, let's not talk about that. You must make sure who you associate with, because the mind establishes a connection and you begin to share your thoughts. You begin to share habits. The person of which or with whom you are always with gets to occupy a large portion of your mind. We establish emotional connections to our ancestors, to our friends, and to the environment in general. That connection that we have, emotional connection, is the pathway to those connections being able to influence our thinking. You understand? I hope you understand. So that's what it actually does. Those connections have that pathway to actually control or influence us. The mind of a weak person seeks the company of the strong person. The mind is responsible for what you see in the aura, your energetic aura. The mind, in simple terms, is responsible for all material creations. The mind is a stage of manifestation of energy. Before energy can mold itself into physical existence, It has to pass through the mind first. So that's why I'm saying it's a stage of manifestation. And then after it goes into the mind, you can actually get a physical result. Other ways of influencing the mind include prana and the aura of the strong mind. You can influence people through the aura, because the aura can be able to stretch to a certain distance. And seeing that we have a cosmic mind and we have connection, basically we are all one in that way. If you can influence your mind, you can influence other minds. If you control your body, you control everybody. If you are able to force thinking into your mind, you are automatically able to force thinking into other external minds. I used to have an affirmation that I used to say: I control my body, I control everybody. I think this affirmation helped me a lot with my influence magic and being able to cast magic onto people, because I'm grateful it works. Anyway, that's how related we are, that's how connected we are. So it can be influenced through aura and through thought projection and through prana. You can do that. However, we come to our path as magicians. Om Keshavaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. We come into our what? Our occult sphere as magicians. The root cause of all magic is to get results in a way that is not the obvious or the apparent. Suppose I want a girlfriend. The normal way would be to actually go to that girlfriend and actually approach her and speak to her and try to get her on an intellectual level and emotional level to actually be on my level of thinking, which is falling in love with me. I would then go out and do so. However, as a magician, as a tantric, I would do what? I would maybe get an incense. I would get a candle, and I would get what? Maybe a notebook. I would get maybe a notebook and write something and light the candle and burn the incense. I am influencing my mind and her mind to actually bring out the results of bringing us together through a way which is not obvious, which is not conventional, which is not normal. So the mind can also be influenced through that. As magicians, we seek to influence the mind to get results in a way which is not apparent. You understand? If you want to destroy an enemy, as a magician, you wouldn't fetch the person. You would gather different elements in nature to actually effect change on the person's life. Do you understand me now? Yes. So let's talk about magic, its purpose, its ritual. Magic is forcing or enacting that change through means which are not apparent. creating internal changes which then seek expression into the external, which then bring results. That's magic. Its ritual is to convince the mind to think that it is undergoing the experience of bringing out the ritual or bringing out the results, basically. It is said that the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind or the mind cannot differentiate between a real experience and what you think, basically. You understand? So if you think of murdering someone, the mind actually thinks, because the mind's nature is to actually think. So it actually thinks that you have actually done the deed. It can't differentiate between the external action and the internal action, because it's an internal instrument that does what? Thinks. So when you think, when you imagine that you have done something, the mind can't tell the difference. You understand? So the ritual is undergoing that experience to convince the mind that it's actually happening. And then what happens after that? It seeks expression into the physical. Since I said to you that what? The mind is a stage of manifestation, of results. So when you undergo the experience doing the ritual, after a certain time, it moves onto another stage of manifestation, which is the physical manifestation and materializing. So it goes on to materialize in the physical. And then you have your girlfriend. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. So, as a magical worker and a magical practitioner, it would be best for you to do what? To be able to do action and be able to see the formation of patterns that are allowing you to do what? To materialize your results. What am I saying? If you do a spell for money, you must be able to have an income source that will bring in that money into your reality. Maybe you can sell something and do a ritual to get money, and then you will do that. Because why? When you do that, you are creating a flexibility of the material plane using your body. So meaning you are making your body to be flexible enough to be able to be influenced by your ritual and your thinking. That's what I'm saying basically. So when you do such things, you are actually creating that physical body to be flexible enough to encounter the results that follow. So if you want a girlfriend, it would be best for you to be able to speak to one and then go perform magic to actually get her. Why am I saying so? When you become flexible as your material existence, you become flexible enough, it's much easier and faster to get that manifestation into your physical life. Because suppose your body is inert and your mind is rajasic, you're constantly doing rituals, your mind is not strong enough to push your inert body to actually get results. Suppose you do rituals of losing weight, but you are fat and you are 600 pounds lying in bed. You want to lose maybe 300 pounds in the first month of doing magic. You do that magic maybe in bed. After doing that ritual, you want to lose 300 pounds. Your body is inert. It can't be changed to lose 300 pounds in an instant because it's inert. You are laying in bed. So your thought or your ritual can only do what? It can only change your body chemistry to actually eat less food. You understand? And then you lose maybe 10 pounds. You've lost weight. You've gotten that result because your body is, or your material existence is not flexible enough to encounter that drastic change. So if you want a girl, it would be best for you to be able to speak to girls first, and then you do rituals to do what? To manifest that getting your girl fast than you would if you were somebody just starting out. Because if you are starting out and you are doing, I'm giving you a secret now. If you are starting out and you are doing a ritual to get a girl, you've never spoken to one. You will only get what you are able to get according to your physical state, or rather it will simply not manifest because it's not finding an avenue of expression in your life, basically. So if you are able to speak, if you work on your charm, if you work on your seduction, you are able to get what? A better girl, a high vibrational girl, because now you would have that flexibility in your material existence to manifest such a girl. Simple formula for magic. Simple formula for magic. To get the best results in any form of magic, you simply have to make your material existence flexible enough to manifest results faster. You understand? If you have an innate material existence, I am sorry, your results will take longer. And then there's also what? The lust for result. I am fortunate enough, I've never encountered such a thing as the lust for result. I was able to do what? To let go of my rituals after doing that. Because when you lust for a result, maybe I've done it before I actually practiced magic or tantra. When you lust for a result, you disturb that thought from going out into the universe and actually getting results. So it loses its potency and energy. By the time it reaches the external universe, there's no avenue of expression or energy of expression. So that's what basically happens in the lust of result. What else can I say about this? 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 The last of results, basically. Oh, I wanted to also point out the fact that this is what actually does happen with mantras. In the correct ritual formula for a mantra, after doing the japa, you have to offer that mantra to the deity or the Ishta deity of which you have been communicating. You understand? And then after offering that energy, the deity will be able to protect through the rituals that we have done prior to giving out that energy to the deity. Through them, you are able to protect that energy of the mantra, keep it intact, give it back to the deity, and then it goes out to seek expression in the external universe. It never loses potency because you have done measures to actually protect that energy. It's a process basically of doing that. And I'm thinking of finally creating a video speaking about all these and actually giving you a course on how to actually do these. I'm seriously considering how to do that. The method of how to do that, to simplify it, I think it's what has been delaying me. And also, I'm thinking, yes, I'm thinking of that basically. So I'll do it as soon as I have an idea of how to do it. Maybe I can fragment it into stages, maybe do something for the beginner stage, and then do something for the intermediate, and then do something for the advanced. Maybe I can fragment it in those portions, because it's vital that I get it out there with no perversions, with no alterations and modifications, with a better and clearer understanding, with no impatience, because I might corrupt the message and forget certain steps within there, because it's a big ton of knowledge that I actually want to share to you guys, but I don't know how to fragment it in a way that will be concise and clear for each and every one of you. To the 422nd Quidditch World Cup, let the match begin. Sorry guys, I grew up watching Harry Potter, so yes, this is actually what I'm doing, the impersonations of that. So a clear, concise way of doing that. I'm thinking of doing that. I'm seriously considering that. Anyway, we've reached the conclusion of the video. Thank you for watching this far. Thank you for subscribing if you are new over here. Thank you for liking the video, and thank you for commenting in the comment section if you have further questions. I'd like to thank Shri Rama, you know yourself, brah. Shri Rama, La Morena. I'd also like to thank Shri Joshua. I'd also like to thank Jorge. Can't forget Jorge. I have to thank also Trey Way for commenting. Guys, there's been a trolling guy. I don't know if it's a guy that I had in a group chat when I was starting out, maybe last year, or it's a European guy from the European hemisphere. This guy has been sending like trolling comments. First he said that I was a monkey, and now he's saying that I am a bushman and I'm getting all my knowledge from the internet. Whatever that he's learning from my channel, the channel is also on the internet, and the age in which we are living is the digital age. To even cook a recipe, you come from the internet and you get that recipe. So if I got my knowledge from the internet and I have no guru, I'm able to get results. Just like the person who cooks stew that comes from an internet recipe, they are able to make dinner for their family. I don't know if this person is stupid, but I think this person is stupid, because to watch a video in its entirety and then to say a bushman or a monkey man is in actuality doing what? Learning from the internet, while you are learning from that person who is also on the internet. This person has to be foolish to do that. So I'm thinking it's a guy from India that we had in a group chat, or a European guy. This person would have a motive, because I got rid of him as he was sending countless messages to me. And also, if it's a European guy, I think he could be head of how I portray or how I speak about the Europeans in some of my videos. That being said, it might cause a confusion, because I know most of my subscribers are either European or Indian. If this is how my message comes across when I speak to you guys as Europeans, I'd like to apologize. I am not being racist. I am keeping this humorous and funny, and using some of the thinking that we have from our occult spheres as African people and practitioners. Some of the videos I might have done when I was still a neophyte, coming from influences from the Western African guys. So I might have said something that may have sounded like I'm racist or whatever. So I don't actually care about the racism and stuff. It happened. We are in actuality energy, and I just want to keep on practicing what I'm practicing, and I finally want to go to India to see what I can learn from face-to-face Indians, and I just want to continue with my spirituality. I don't care about racism and races and all that stuff. So this is not the what? The objective of this channel, to spread racism, and I don't see any point of being like the people who were oppressing us. Basically, my life is blissful. I've just discovered many beautiful rituals, and I've discovered that I can use magic effectively and tantra. I've just defeated an enemy. I'm just happy, man. There's nothing for me to be racist about, to be angry about, because I am not like that. Basically, I'm able to eat the way I'm supposed to eat. I'm able to give offerings to my deities, which I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the people that support the way of Dharma from the bottom of my heart. That's why I thank those aforementioned people like Rama, you know yourself, Jorge, and La Morena. I am grateful. There's other aspects of my life that make my life blissful, like my baby, not the child, but my girlfriend, my mother, my family. Everything is beautiful, basically. And I thank the Indians also. I thank my past life and the avatars that brought me this far to actually be able to decipher and practice this knowledge effectively. Like, I'm feeling blissful. So I'm not one to spread such nonsense, basically. And if I've come across as that, I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. This is not what I meant, basically. Om Namah Shivaya. And I don't apologize for the sake of what? Or of being afraid that I may lose my platform, or being afraid that they may attack me, or apologizing due to this troll guy that I'm talking about. I'm simply apologizing to keep peace, and I'm simply giving you a clear picture of who I am. If a white person can encounter me face to face, or if you can do a video call with me, you'd see that I'm acting differently as opposed to what I've said in my other videos, which shows you that it's an actuality, a misinterpretation of my true personality. So I wouldn't be brown nosing or trying to act like I'm a coconut in the midst of European people. So that's not what would be the case. It's purely a misinterpretation, because I think all of you people that watch this channel don't know me personally. So you don't know my sense of humor, you don't know many things about me, which may make you to misinterpret how you perceive me. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. If you want to learn more about yourself through numerological readings and consultations, please make sure that you do send me an email at arsenest.fya@gmail.com. Comment in the comment section if you had questions. Treyway also had a question about spiritual power. Mantras have different levels of attainment, and there's different powers of spiritual power that you can get from mantra. You can get different powers from yoga, which are in actuality leading you into meditation. The postures and the 8 limbs of yoga are leading you to a meditation. Through that meditation, you awaken latent abilities inside of you. That takes time, and that is a path of mysticism. However, through tantra and mantra japa, the powers that you would get would be according to whatever deity that you are chanting or doing mantra japa or sadhana for. Suppose you are doing a sadhana for Shri Ganesh. The attainment that you would get from it, you would be able to destroy all obstacles that you have in your way. Then you are able to avoid obstacles and defeat them. So it would be a siddha or a siddhi that you get from the mantra. If you chant for Mahadeva Shiva, you'd be able to detach. You'd be able to take the characteristics of Lord Shiva, basically, who is in actuality the destroyer. Destroy illusion, you detach. You are able to take sannyasa. If you do mantra japa of Devi Bagalamukhi, you are able to immobilize. You get the siddhi of Stampan. You are able to immobilize the enemy, stifle the enemy's thinking. You cause a stabilization in the enemy's bodily systems and vital airs. You are able to stop bullets from shooting you in an advanced stage. You are able to immobilize anything that deals with immobilizing things. You are able to do that. So every other deity has certain characteristics that you would get from. So the mantra japa that you would do would give you a chance to actually perform those miraculous feats. So to ask a question like that, you would get an abstract answer from most vague gurus. But for me, if you want to get a power, a certain spiritual power, find a deity that corresponds to that spiritual power, do sadhana, do mantra japa for it, and then hopefully you will get that power. Yes, Om Namah Shivaya, Asenest Fire, here on The Way of Dharma.